Good morning and welcome back as we resume the breakfast show. Now we're going to be talking about something quite interesting, which is the Brotherhood. Now we've already delved deep into their history, but it is interesting to note the influence and the different facades they give off, one to the west and one when they actually do implement their policies here in the Arab and Northern African world, and their influence through Sayyid Qutb. And to further understand the person who's going to help us further understand, Dr. Ismail Hamid, the historian and researcher. Thank you very much for being with us.
Good morning, sir. We had discussions before about the Brotherhood specifically, and how such extremist and militant groups would emerge from the school of thought of the Brotherhood and other similar movements. What can you tell us about? What can you tell us more about the Brotherhood?
And I would like just to determine something very important. If we can divide the history of the Brotherhood in two main periods, we can say that we have two main periods of that time. The first one, if we can call it as a reforming period. Okay, at that time when Hassan al-Banna started and he called for reforming Islam and to be back to principles of Islam as it is mentioned in Quran and Sunnah, that is great, okay? But also we have lots of bad things that happened also during that time from his appearance, from the beginning of this group in 1928 till the assassination of Hassan al-Banna in 1949, and they started to have what we call it as a secret organization. The secret organization, it was determined and fixed to make assassination. So also, in figure, they say that we are preaching group, we are preaching the people, we call the people to the way of Allah, okay? But on the other side, they have a secret organization that they killed Nokrashi Basha and Kazandar, the judge who was also charged of their cases. So that a figure. But the second part, which is more dangerous, with the appearance of Sayyid Qutb, nearly 1950. It is a kind of perplexed man. This is the radical time, or the radical period of them. This is no preaching on that time. Just to talk about militia. At that time, they became as militia and the followers of fighters, as they call themselves, this in order to protect the real Muslims. Because for them, at the belief of Qutb, as it's mentioned on his famous book, Ma'alim fi Tariq, or The Signs on the Road, where he said that the societies where we live in our time, the Muslim societies, they are Jahili societies, and they are societies, or they look like the societies of pre-Islam. It's before Islam, like the pagans of Mecca, that they worshipped the idols, the statues and everything. Even that, the people that they have the Islamic names, or they practice even the fara'id, and they pray, they fast, they do all this, but it's not enough. They are disbelievers. So that is very dangerous period of their time. They became with their ugly face, that they consider the whole Muslims that they are disbelievers. So we should fight these people. All the regime, political regimes in all Islamic countries, they are disbelieving regimes. So we should fight them. And of their principles of that time, that it is prior to them to fight the near enemies better than the far enemies. What is the meaning of this for them? Near enemies, it means that we should fight the regimes better than to fight Israel, that represent the enemies of all Muslims from the beginning of the history. Imagine that. So we started to have a very dangerous period of their time with their ugly face, and they started to have lots of radical ideas or satanic ideas, if we can say that.
How come there's such a juxtaposition between the Brotherhood we see here and the Brotherhood that is advertised in the Western world, where they are advocated to be helpers of women's rights, of minorities? Is it strong PR? What is it exactly? How come they are so well able to sort of give off this face over there in the West, and rather we see something completely different over here?
Yes, surely that they would like to commercialize of themselves with the Westerns, okay? So to show them that we are democratic, we don't believe in violence, we are very moderate Muslims. Yes, this is an image that they would like to export that to the West to win them on their side. Yeah, there's something very clear for anyone that is witnessing their image, okay? But also they cannot deceive us. We understand this point of view and their radical and ugly visions of the life of the people. Just for them, they commercialize with the religion. People that make a religion with, as a commerce or as a trade. These people, they don't understand that Islam was spreading all over the world, even to the far African countries, to the south of Africa, to the south of Asia, to Malaysia, to Indonesia, to all these, just by the treatment of the Muslims, just by the tradesmen, Muslim tradesmen, just by the honesty of the Muslim, by the smile of the Muslim. This is a way, not to use the violence, not to use or to kill the people by justifying this, that would like to spread Sharia, to practice Sharia of Allah. Surely that we cannot gather between the tolerance of Islam, the respect of Islam with the other people. On the other side, we have the violence and to kill the people because they are disbelievers.
As a historian and an expert in the Islamic movements, you're saying that they're giving themselves an excuse to use violence in order to implement Islamic jurisprudence or Islamic Sharia. Throughout the history, were they successful or were their tactics successful in order to spread Islamic jurisprudence?
Look, this group, I can compare it with the Khawarij. The Khawarij, when they started, even after the death of Prophet Muhammad, few years, and they get out of the army of Sayyidina Ali, and they say that he is a disbeliever. Imagine what kind of people. They are crazy. Sayyidina Ali, radiallahu anh, and he was the fourth caliph, he was the cousin of Prophet Muhammad, he was one of the great companions, a man with great graces. So we cannot deny he is also the husband of his daughter Fatima, and all the descendants of Ali, they are of al-Bayt. But these silly people, these crazy people, they call that Ali, he is a disbelievers. So I think when we compare this with such a man like Qud and what he said about ourselves, about us, okay, so we can understand the radical beliefs or radical vision of some people like that. For them, they said that across their history, we have mihna, could be a mihna for them. Okay, like the mihna that happened after the assassination of Hassan al-Banna in 1949, that they were arrested and they were banned as a group and then became more stronger and all this. So for them, after every mihna, they became more stronger. But this time is different. This is the end of brotherhood. There is no way. And I said it every time.
So why do you think so?
Yes, if there is no a channel like Al Jazeera, we don't hear about these people. It is just their voice. Okay, if not so, we don't hear about them. It's over for that, because they don't have now a popular background, don't have a support of the people. Because every time whether they were a mihna or a sedition for them or whatever, so the people, they support them, they are good people, they call for Allah, and they are preachers and all this. They have a support of people for a different way. But now there is no support of people. People, they sow their violence and their bad practice on the ground. So they have no support of the people now. So they suffer a great suffer. And for myself, that group is over in the history. So it is a different time, and I would like to ensure to any person that he thinks that these people, they could come again to the scene. It's over now, okay? Because by their silliness and their craziness, these people, they consider that they have the absolute right. We are right people, we are righteous. It is the group that Prophet Muhammad, he told that my nation will be divided into more 70 groups. All of them, they will be in hellfire except one group. This is the brotherhood. This according to their belief. They have every time the absolute right, and it's not good